events that took place within the week. You know, some of the trending stories you may have been following online, following in the social media. This is where we discuss, we call some of the analysts to come and let's have some conversations over these trending issues. And we have lined up some journalists here, some analysts to do justice to these stories and these reports that happened within the week. Here to join in the conversation, I have Emma Elekwa. Emma Elekwa is of the Nation. Yes, Nation newspapers.
Good morning, listeners.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nation, yeah.
You're welcome. Then I have, of course, Chukwemeka Modelem is an analyst, a constant here. Chukwemeka Modelem, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Good morning, listener.
And of course, we have the doctor in the house, Dr. Priska Nwankwo.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Month, everyone. Happy New Month.
And of course, Judy Jeff Mwabeza JJ for short. I would say a happy new month and happy Workers' Day to all of us. Stay tuned. Thank you.
As part of efforts to inform, educate, and entertain you better, ABS proudly presents Journalists Lounge, a dynamic news and current affairs program. Each week, we delve into pressing global topics including politics, the economy, health, education, security, agriculture, and much more. Tune in to ABS 88.5 FM every Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. and be part of the conversation.
You're welcome back. Yes, I think we have to take off with, today is our day, Workers' Day, Labor Day, May Day, whatever you like, you call it. But I think today is dedicated to all workers all over the world, a day where workers are honored, you know, workers who have really helped in molding the world economy, the state economy, the local government economy, even ABS economy. Yes.
Yes.
Today is our day. And I know workers have a lot of expectations from government at all levels. Now, let's start. What do you think are the expectations of workers from the government, state government, federal government, or even the local government?
Thank you so much. As a worker, I feel highly honored today because it's something that we always look up to. Every first day of May, all of us meet with government officials, okay, to discuss the way forward. We look at the journey so far, how government, has tried in terms of workers' welfare, and then the areas where workers need to complement government efforts, in our uplifting their living condition. Yes, we all know that last year the topic on discussion table was minimum wage. Okay, and I'm happy to say here that some states, have started paying the 70,000 naira minimum wage. Okay, Anambra is also one of those states paying the minimum wage.
Yes.
Yes, we commend the governor for that. It's also worrisome that many states have not complied with that, and this thing does not augur well with workers in those states. All of us know that the prevailing economic hardship in Nigeria, okay, demands a better wage for every worker, because 70,000, even the 70,000 minimum wage we are talking about now cannot give a worker, a good living.
You cannot take home, cannot take them home.
Cannot you cannot take them home. Okay, by the time you feed yourself for 2 weeks, that money is gone.
Yeah.
You don't talk about paying your bills because you can never do that. So why will state governments find it difficult to pay this. Is a sin to God, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, well, these are people who take home millions at the end of the month. Well, this is a country where a sitting senator takes home over 18 million every month. Likewise members of the House of Reps.
Well, we go to the same market.
We those in the same market. We all go to the same market. We buy fuel from the same station. We do the same thing. So why would they be treated better than civil servants who are the engine room of government? Without civil servants, the government cannot function. There's no two ways about that. So the government should review. I call for review of this 70,000 minimum wage, because it can no longer meet the needs of civil servants. This is the time to talk about it. Something should be done about it. There is nothing wrong in paying a civil servant 150,000 naira this time around. There's nothing wrong in that.
As minimum wage.
As minimum wage.
Yeah.
They deserve it, because the present economic downturn in Nigeria makes nonsense of 70,000 naira minimum wage. They take home. It's nothing. A lot of civil servants live in exorbitant accommodation out there. And they pay the same. They pay this rent from their salary. They pay bills from their salary, from the same 70,000 minimum wage. It's nothing. So this is something government should look into. We deserve better health care delivery. A functional one, a good hospital. I'm a different government. Okay, your children should also attend good public schools, free of cost. These are the benefits that government should give to civil servants. That is one of the ways to get the best out of them, to make them to remain productive in service. As in the person will do more. So that is that.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. Emma, what do you think could be the reason some of these states, some of the governors have not started paying the 70,000 naira minimum wage? As much as it's still little, but then some have not even started, not to talk of increasing it. What do you think would be the reason?
Before I answer your question, I just wanted to react to what my friend Emeka has said. Those of us from the private sector, I think we are receiving it. Because if you ask me, he said that 70,000 is chicken change, vis-a-vis the long list of bills to pay by civil servant. Those of us in the private sector, I don't know what you tell us. Because one, we are not even part of this this package you are talking about. Not to talk of whether it's high or low. So and again, when you keep talking about minimum wage, increasing it and all of that, it also has a ripple effect in the large economy. For example, those women in the market, when they hear that minimum wage is there, a tomato that is being sold at 200 naira will definitely rise to maybe 300 or 400 naira, as the case may be. So you now discover that those of us who are not even considered in all of this, we are also going in the same market and buying from the same traders. But, however, personally, if you ask me, they say there is dignity and level. If truly a worker, a Nigerian worker will even appreciate the dignity that is in labor. Because some of us, we see these things we are doing. It's other government. How much are they paying? You don't take that responsibility serious. But some of us who are, because the more you dignify this work, the more you enjoy it. That whether despite the fact that you are paid or not paid, there is this satisfaction that you derive that you are rendering service. Because I discovered that some of us, like a journalist, on a day like this, supposed to, other workers are resting. But you can agree with me that we don't have such privilege. Yes. We are an essential services. If we go to rest, who will now be? So these are things that personally I enjoy, that makes me like, whether you pay me or you don't pay me, as long as I am delivering services, and the people that I'm delivering these services are also appreciating it, there's a way out that God will also, through such services, make you to be comfortable. I always say, since I started doing journalism, I'm not going to leave. And the truth of the matter is that how do you even go and leave? Because if there is any emergency, you say, you have principal or coordinator. Why are you going there? Are you not, if you see there's a collapsed building somewhere, go and pick it. You discover that you are not still on leave. So back to their questions, if you ask me, or are you asking me, who will I not ask? There is no justification, there is no reason why governors will not do the needful. The approval has been given by the federal government. Pay these workers their minimum wage. Are you trying to explain to us that you don't have this money, or that it has been misappropriated? Bible says that a worker deserves his wages. And like Rebecca said, if you don't pay this thing, you are sinning against God and man. Amen. So for those state governments and governors that have not implemented this minimum wage, they should do the needful, so that these workers can also give their best. Because when workers are not receiving their salary as at when you will discover that their delivery, will be nothing to write home about. So I appeal to them that, to their conscience, they should pay these ones their salaries because they are working for it.
It's all right. Thank you very much. Doc, can we have your thoughts on that?
Well, they've said all there is to say. Most people will tell you that civil servants in Nigeria, that their take home doesn't even actually take them home. Because if you look at what you earn and look at what you spend, you know that what you spend is actually greater than what you earn, and that's a very, very, very worrisome situation when you're spending more than you're earning. You see that it doesn't make sense. And no one minimum wage job that will even be enough to counter some of the economic realities on ground at the moment. But I'm just urging everybody to pay, because I think it's very bad. On top. So every year, May Day, IMA Workers' Day. But is it just about going to the stadium or doing match past or the square? That is not all there is to Workers' Day. There are different challenges workers face in Nigeria. So every Workers' Day should be an opportunity to listen to the workers, know what they are facing, come up with suitable means to address these challenges. So it's not just to go there after all the fanfare. Civil servants are still living in penury. It doesn't make sense. And next year, we still celebrate another Workers' Day. So at the end of the day, we're asking, what are we even doing? What is the essence? What are we doing? Should Workers' Day not be a day for the workers? Remembering their sacrifices, honoring them. And by honoring them, you look at their problems, you address their challenges. Overall, just to be doing all those rasmatas at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. I just feel that Nigerian workers, that they need to treat Nigerian workers better.
All right.
But sorry, before you will go to do you also notice that some of these governors in some states deliberately dodge a day like this? You know, you're talking about they should come and listen to work.
Because they know what is up.
Of course, they will be stoned or thrown to work.
So in other words, they actually know the true essence of the day. Yes. Just that they are not living up to it. So now how much
yes, and another thing I want to add here is that, my fellow workers, you should also play your own part. Play your own part, because we know that there are workers who go to work late.
And ghost workers.
Yeah, the ghost workers.
Go at all.
There are those who don't even go at all.
Yeah.
You are not. You see, you are not part of this minimum wage you are talking about.
You don't deserve
it. You don't deserve it.
Yeah.
You don't deserve it. So you trace your steps. That is that.
But some of the, I know some landlords, follow they'll tell you, but in actual is even no civil servants, they're going to civil servants. Never need you.
What is that?
So that is the thing. It's not encouraging at all. But at the same time, like Chukwemeka Modeling said, we the civil servants, workers, we need to put in our best. No, onye malele enyi ozo. The government, wherever at any level, will be willing to say, Nandi Adepa very productive, you know, and let us know how we're going to compensate them. My even my hazard allowance, because I'm a lot of professions where a lot of hazards, you know, in the discharge of their responsibilities and duties. So please, we are talking to ourselves. Let's some of us are there more. Let's try as much as possible to retrace our steps so that we get better remuneration. Thank you so much. Now, another conversation that is coming up is about 2 days ago. Mr. Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, had a meeting with Southeast Traditional Rulers Council. That's members of the Southeast Traditional Rulers at the International Convention Center. Yes, in that meeting, our governor urged them and enjoined them to make efforts to reclaim our homeland. I think that was the crux of their discussion, to make efforts to reclaim our homeland. He was talking to all the traditional rulers in the Southeast geopolitical zone. Now the question is, how do they intend, or how do you think they intend to reclaim this our or their homeland? Can I start with you, Doc? Priska?
Okay, for our traditional rulers.
Yes, how you think they can reclaim this our Southeast, because there seems to be a lot of things happening at the same time in the Southeast.
Well, first, the traditional rulers are the custodians of our culture and our traditions. And Imana, during this insecurity crisis, they were talking about community vigilante activities, saying that people should go to the communities and people should come from the communities to safeguard themselves. So basically what I'm saying is that right?
Yeah.
So the traditional rulers, everybody is from a community. Everybody comes from somewhere. So, and that is why when somebody is doing the wrong thing, they tend to generalize it. For instance, this thing that is happening, they keep saying Igbos, Yoruba. So what if you do something, it's not just you that is answerable for that. It's more like your people. And that is what we do here. So if the traditional rulers are living up to their expectations, which the government is placing on them, and even their people are placing on them, then I don't think we're going to be having some of this incident, security crisis, all this thing. Because you keep asking. I remember when the governor went for the town hall meeting, the one he went for at the UK, one little man asked a question. So the man was saying, what is he doing about the security situation at Lille? So he now asked the man, should they have a traditional ruler? That the people of Lille know what is happening in their community, but that the people of Lille welcomed invaders and they're not doing anything and they're just holding their hands, that they know that should they have a traditional ruler. He now asked, the person now said, but they're handling insecurity crisis in other states. Why is it that Lille is going to be different? He now asked the person, when last did the person come to the village? The person said 7 years ago. He now said the person that he has nothing to say to him. That until he comes back before he can answer him. So now, it means that to a great extent, any issues or problems or challenges we face in the society emanates from somewhere. But if the traditional rulers are holding their own, are handling their own business, when somebody commits a crime in a village, you don't hide the person, you don't shield the person.
Yeah.
You bring the person out, because when you shield the person, you encourage somebody else to do the same thing. And if the person does the same thing because nothing was done to that person, tomorrow people will start doing the same thing. And when you want to condemn, you do not just say Priska from me, you say Lilu people, or Oko people, or Okulobia people, as the case may be. So traditional rulers to a great extent has a huge role to play with regards to whatever is happening in the various communities, and in overall transcending to the greater Anambra. So because now open our state got so we should, I believe that traditional rulers have a great role to play, and they should leave and stop all these squabbles. I'm saying a PG traditional ruler all these things are the things that cause chaos and cause confusion in the state. And if we are saying that we are hoping for a livable homeland, a prosperous homeland, it is not only government efforts. The citizens, the traditional rulers in the community also have their own role to play. So I think that to a great extent, they can help turn the tide of what is happening in the States.
Yeah, thank you very much. When you were talking, I remember that time. That was a time traditional rulers ran out from their from their villages, from their communities.
Imagine, so what happened to the people?
They came to Oka.
Relocated to Oka.
They relocated to Oka. You know, the traditional rulers you are telling to go and see what they can do. They were running, you know, but thank God for our governor who has taken the bull by the horn. Now, Emma, what do you think?
Actually, this is a serious matter we are discussing. You know, what came to my mind as we are talking about this is this adage, is the adage, a slang or phrase, if we can even trace the origin of that statement, which is waiting, you know, it's part of the solution to our problem. Because we are talking about Eze here, right? Traditional rulers are the kings of their communities. And if the average citizen or a community member of the community where a king is, holding a supreme, is not respecting the traditional ruler, you agree with me that there will be problem.
Yeah.
True.
You know, I remember during that when insecurity was high, there's this cleric. I was told I was not there. You know, they were trooping. There was an incident. Somebody was killed or murdered, and there was kind of a reprisal. They were trooping that also. And this religious leader alighted from his car, and just in this, all those boys that were carrying guns and all of that, they dropped their arms. So if I take that illustration, you know, serious, if such a person can command that kind of respect, if it can translate or transcend down to the traditional rulers, if they talk and their members listen, it will go a long way in helping to reclaim the land. I also have another instance where one DPO like that in Fege, he's not from this part of the country. I mean, he's not from this state. I think he's from the north. But the respect these boys had for him, they were burning so many other stations, police stations, but they didn't touch his own.
His own.
Immediately they came, you know, he came out and they were like, no, on that, if you are the one. So where am I going? Our traditional rulers should find out what could have led how come they just lost the respect the average member of the community has for them? If this respect can be reclaimed, for me, it's one of the ways to solve this issue of reclaiming the land.
The homeland.
Because as long as, and this is goes with our religious leaders. When we are growing up, for crying out loud, I had this bishop, he's late. Every day he's coming to our church. It's like Jesus is coming. There is this aura, there is this, you know, because the man hardly even comes out. He comes once in a, not this one that you see bishop, you see, you know, they're always regular. Once you become familiar with your subjects, the tendency, you know, they say that familiarity breeds contempt. And some of them will just, lose their respect. And before long, you can't talk to them and say, sit down here, the person will sit. So I'm looking at it from that angle. If they can find a way to sort themselves out to regain this respect that they have lost, supposedly, I think it will go a long way.
Not just over familiarity, that's to some extent, but not seeing them always, but at times they mortgage their conscience, they mortgage their conscience. Some of these people, they now go and pay homage.
Chieftaincy title.
They pay homage to the Igbos. So they give them chieftaincy title, not minding how they made their money, you understand? So, the mother you go there, guava, anything, you're on your own. You could try once again. And if it's illegal, but that's your dear Maga, is no, they will listen to you. So, Chukwameka, what's your take on that, please?
Yes, in the Bible, I see Igbo Wednesday. I know what Igbo Wednesday. As the review of furniture. Igwe Alfred Achebe is one of the highly respected traditional rulers in Igbo land. And he is earning that respect because of the way he lives his life. He has respect of his people. So many traditional rulers have even questionable character. Their communities you go to, you see their community, you see their traditional rulers, you marvel, you say, can you go as a believer? Okay? So how do you expect such person, okay, to broker peace in his community that is ravaged by crisis? Nobody will listen to him. Nobody takes him seriously because he is part of the problem. It starts from there. So traditional rulers must be men of proven integrity. And achieve a situation only no fear of God. Only Madagascar. Only give a wisdom. Many of them even engage in selling of community lands. After saying some of them even buy lands belonging to a poor man because no one they play. So our government knows that they have a role to play, in reclaiming the southeast from East capitals. Ensure that there is peace in your respective communities. Many of them can help by also attracting investments to their communities. Many crimes that are being perpetrated in communities are done by the youth. 80% of the crimes are being done by the youth. So in the communities, you go to them, tell them the need to divest their investment, to extend their wealth to home, so that when these people are working, you divert their minds, from social vices. They will be meaningfully engaged. Another crime in a community. If somebody comes to you to honor him with a chieftaincy title, it gives you big money, you find it very difficult. I know it's very difficult to resist such temptation, wondrous amount of money. But because your interest is the collective, well-being of your people, the progress of the community, you go ahead to make investigation about the person. When you have if you don't know much about him, ask his kindred. Make necessary investigations. How did he make his money? Who is he? Is he somebody that will bring confusion to my community? Is he somebody that will instigate crisis in my community? Open nobody will get character. You don't do such. You refuse to do it. All part of the ways to restore peace in our community. These drug dealers who will know how they made their money. When they come into the community, they will even want to. Some of them will even want to dethrone their traditional ruler, install somebody they want who will be doing their bidding. If you not one, this will happen. So the community, the traditional rulers must live up to expectation. People will look up to their people. Their subjects will be looking up to, and they say, "I want to be like this man." That he doesn't support evil. He helps his people. He has given so many youth employments. He helps attract development to our community. If somebody engages in criminality and the person is brought to you, you take the person to law enforcement agencies to do the needful, not hiding the person, like Krista said. Many of them do that. If you some of them don't even live in their communities. They operate from Europe.
How can you be in Europe? Now achieve a community where you are supposed to reside. You are not in charge of community. You don't know what is happening in your community. Tomorrow you say that state government the government can't, but you are part of the problem. So you should live with your community so that you will know what is happening in your community and how to solve the problems. That is one of them. So the Israelites should also be men. We should be honest. They should be men that discharge their duties with transparency, honesty, and the fear of God. All time they may know a very festive period like this. They organize unity cup competitions. You bring the youth together. Okay, they play football competitions. So the first team takes home a good gift. You also hold something like a cultural fiesta. Okay, that promote the cultural heritage of the community. All may find it promote conviviality.
Foster unity.
Foster unity among the people. Okay, these are the things that I mean. The more you get the they must condemn ill-gotten wealth. That is if I am on the southeast. Ill-gotten wealth. But a chief. Cabinet. They should discourage that.
Yes.
They should discourage that. People who make money legitimately should be rewarded. If a principal is serving the community well, you bring him into your cabinet. You need to take a title because he has served the community. He has contributed to the development of the community. All the time is no progress in the community. Not somebody who has not done anything because the person gave you 20 million. You gave him chief state title. Tomorrow, he will divide the community. That is what we see in many communities.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I just remember something. Did you notice that in recent times, if you go to Ministry of Women Affairs, you see all manner of cases. You know, women, children, men, and all of that dropping there. And now, by asking, are all of these persons supposed to come to the Ministry of Women Affairs?
They're supposed to go to some.
Are they not coming from communities? Is it that these traditional laws and these are helpless to the extent that they now push their subjects to, as if something is wrong somewhere? Yes. And if you don't trace some of these things, you discover that, the commissioner, sometimes I pity her because she's like, carrying a burden that's supposed to have
so much load, yeah.
by these traditional.
All right. Then I want to ask, do you think in this in fostering unity and regional development, do you think the Southeast Development Commission has any role to play in this?
In fostering unity? Unity
and regional development.
Yes, they have a role to play in that. You look at their terms of reference, okay? They are to establish hospitals, okay? In communities where there is no, health facility. They will do that. Sink pipe-borne waters, boreholes in communities that do not have pipe-borne waters, okay? So even construct roads. They construct roads, they build roads. In communities that do not even have access roads. So they are part and parcel of it.
It's all right. Do you have a contrary idea, Priska?
No, I don't.
Okay, right.
I think Southeast Development Commission, so basically everything concerning the Southeast, it's in their, it should be under the purview. So this is also welcome, yes.
Okay, right. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's move out to politics. In recent times, we noticed, just within this week, we noticed a high wave of political defection,
Jumpology.
The political defection by PDP members, PDP governors, and people like that to the ruling party, APC. It has become alarming and is like PDP is losing it. While some are for it, some are against it. And more, just yesterday, the governor of Akwa Ibom State made a statement. He said that it's like PDP is now like a spoiled aircraft. And for him to get to his destination, he needs to board a new airplane, a fresh airplane, Well, but only no, maybe now. He said so, Governor Anambra. So he too is likely, he is eyeing APC, from his statements, and we all know that Okowa and the whatever that's happening in Delta State, they have infected, yes, and many others, but these are just the figureheads. So what do you think? What do you think? Is it really right? I mean, these defections from here to there, is it really right? And is it constitutional for them to defect and still hold the posts, they got where they were on the other platform? What do you think, Chukwemeka Modelem?
Yes, defection by our politicians to another political party has been a recurring feature in this country. It did not start today. And this is because we have bread and butter politicians. Politicians who do not take the interest of the people, the society, seriously. It's all about me. It's all about me. If this party I used to win election will not guarantee my re-election, I switch to another party, okay, that will give me that. That is what is happening in Nigeria. Now, because the opposition parties have failed, okay, to live up to expectations, the governors in those parties are cross-carpeting to APC, in order to secure re-election.
Yes.
We saw what happened in Delta State, and the same reason you gave here, why the current governor of Edo State is planning to defect to APC, was why the same governor of the governor of Delta State and former governor of the state moved to APC, because that PDP, they said that PDP is akin to a palm wine that has lost its taste. So they have to change their drinking pattern. They have to change their drinking pattern. Can you imagine? So this thing spells doom for our democracy, because we will get to a stage where everything the ruling party does goes. There will be no checks and balances. Every budget, the national or state assembly can just look at the budget and pass it within 3 hours, okay, without scrutinizing the budget to make amends where necessary. I found a one-party system. This thing is not healthy at all for our democracy, and it also erodes a public trust. The people who elected you with a particular platform to represent. Now you have abandoned that platform, and they defected to another. Will no longer be interested, okay, to come out tomorrow to vote in election again, because when as an encounter that is here, okay, the reason why they elected you, okay, they elected you to that public office, okay,
on that platform,
on that platform, okay, you did not achieve it. You did not do it. So next time, they will not be interested to come out and vote. And two, it weakens the opposition. It weakens the opposition, because opposition are supposed to be there to work, to checkmate the ruling party. Because so since there is nobody checkmating the ruling party will be doing a lot of illegal things, a lot of illegality, okay, will be happening in this country. Nobody is questioned. If you go to court, if you are rigged out in an election, you go to court, you will not get justice, because the ruling party will still be there in court
to influence the judgment.
To influence the judgment in their favor. You have lost out. So opposition should learn to operate with clear-cut ideology. In America, where we have Republican Party and Democrats, okay, they operate based on the ideology. There is a reason why the two parties exist. Okay, anything that is against the ideology, they speak out. They say, this party, what you are doing is anti-human, because it's not in line with our own ideology. That when we come to power, this is what we are going to do. And you find the ruling party retrace their steps. That is the way it should be in Nigeria. But we don't see it here. So the defection is not in the best interest of the people. their leaders do it to achieve their own whims and caprices. Now, the acting governor of even the acting governor, the acting national governor of PDP,
Acting national chairman
of PDP, has told these defectors that will not even guarantee them, re-election. Will not guarantee their re-election, because this is coming, according to him, that the 2027 election is between Nigeria and the ruling party, So it's not about how many governors you have to win election. So if they can begin now, if the opposition party can begin now, like he said, to strategize, towards the 2027 general election, I think they will do better. They will make a difference, not just saying it and it ends there.
Right, thank you very much. You will be wishing to say something, Emma?
I didn't want to talk, but it's painful. For those of us that even studied political science, this is not what we were taught. The reality on ground is a sharp departure of what is, what we are taught. Like Emeka said, this one-party state is anti-democratic, because until you have a position, it's just like monopolistic market. Once you have a particular, somebody selling one and he's the only one, he can, like you're waiting for bus to go to Onitsha now, and there is scarcity of bus. Everyone that comes, you must pay it. And that is what we are going to experience, or we are already experiencing. But you talked about national chairman of acting national chairman of PDP. What has he been doing all this while? That because I place part of this problem on the FCT minister. Wike has proved beyond reasonable doubt that he is untouchable. He's he's in charge. And why is it that it's difficult to tell some of these his excesses? Because when you trace the way this thing has been going, many of these members who are they are not happy with what is happening in PDP. For crying out loud, how can somebody who is also in another, in fact, he's serving another party, and he's also claiming to be in this party? I don't think as last time
nobody has a right to suspend him.
Are you getting it now? And how can somebody be doing something and he's left? After national chairman, what has he done? To checkmate these excesses, and he's now saying. So I don't also blame these, fair weather politicians who always want to go where this is happening. And you also know that the APC, the ruling party we are talking about, is like an umbrella that covers a multitude of sins. They say if you want your sin to be forgiven. All of them that have the EFCC matters and all of that, the only place you can go for survival or for protection is the umbrella of the APC. And I'm also like, as we are discussing, is it not possible, like we talked about traditional rulers rejecting some chieftaincy title, or not also allowing giving a chieftaincy titles to, can it be possible in Nigeria that a politician want to join a party and the party say no, we are not taking it? Why would that? If discover that coming to spoil our party is also, in fact, is what do they call it? You are daydreaming, because they know that the larger the number, the merrier. So they always keep accepting the good, the bad, and the ugly. So all I'm saying is that this is not healthy for our democracy, and if we don't check it, a time will come when it will only be, and I don't know why PDP, the largest, if I can still remember, the largest political party in Africa. Am I right? And cannot play the role of an opposition. When APC was in their shoes, they played this thing well. Yeah. And that was why it was easy. I mean, look at the way they took over.
Dismantled APC.
Before it was safe, Jack Robinson, they are already there. Now it's their role to play this, saying they are not playing it. I think something is wrong.
Another thing the acting national chairman of PDP must do here is to expel members of the party causing confusion in PDP. causing problems in PDP. If he does not have the power, then the people saddled with that responsibility should do that. Because
I think he has a power, but maybe he doesn't have the guts.
I said the guts. Okay, the guts.
He doesn't have the guts.
Then they should look for somebody who has the guts. It's not qualified to be there. We are talking about restoring, the dignity of PDP. We enjoyed in the past. PDP served us well. Anybody who lived in Nigeria during the period they were in power know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And that is what we are better off in PDP than this current APC.
At least they have listening ears.
They have listening ears. So opposition should play the role of opposition. I agree with you. PDP is not doing that, and I think it's one of the reasons why they are losing membership. APC, before they took over, they took over from PDP. We are playing the opposition role. Perfectly.
Yeah.
The current president of Nigeria then, who was in Action Alliance, okay, was busy playing the opposition role. Even when former President Olusegun Obasanjo, stopped his allocation, local government allocation for about 3 or 4 years. Okay, he went to court, challenged the president, and even though Obasanjo withheld the allocation till he left office, but he was there fighting to get what belonged to Lagos State. And from APC, he tried to penetrate other western states. He formed APC in Ogun State, Ekiti, maybe about four western states then. That was how he started. And they were playing the opposition role. So every time anything PDP did then that was anti-human, they opposed it. And because they were doing that, Nigerians felt that if they could be given opportunity to serve this country, that they would do better. That was why they succeeded in 2015. PDP is not doing that. So PDP should wake up. It should wake up.
All right, Oscar.
Defection is not like it just started today. It's just that it's becoming more pronounced because as I was studying, there was a time defection was very high in the country. And I was reading of something. I came across an article that said that in 1951, the NCNC, members of the political party NCNC, National Council for Nigeria and the Cameroon, defected to Action Group. In 1951, they defected to Action Group. Why? To deny Nnamdi Azikiwe the opportunity to become the premier then. And that was what made Obafemi Awolowo become the premier of the Western region. So defection has long been in the Nigerian political system. Now, the question we should be asking ourselves is the reasons why these candidates decide to defect to another political party. And when I was reading about the one of Delta State, the Commissioner for Information, we said it last week, he came to put up a defense that if the palm wine skin is no longer enjoyable to drink, then you change the pattern of drinking palm wine, and some kind of crazy analogy that he made, saying that, imagine putting on crazy, you think you're talking to people that don't think, saying that the PDP was no longer serving the interests of the citizens, like it was because of the citizens that they defected. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, these politicians are only self-serving. They're always self-serving. Because if they're not self-serving, now tell me why a sitting governor is going to abandon the party where he was on the platform, where he was elected, that he won an election, and now decide to go over to another party. And this idea of making APC gradually wanting to turn to Nigeria into a one-party,
a single party,
it's crazy. Because even in more developed countries, even like America, there is more than one party. We have the Republicans and we have the Democrats. Yeah. Now, you can't say that you're practicing democracy when you're not giving people an opportunity, when you're now forcing people to do what you want them to do. There's nothing democratic about that. The essence of having multiple political parties is to give people the freedom for them to choose what they want and not force them your own decision, impose something. Because when they finish, that everybody eventually defers to APC, it means that APC no longer has any opposition. So it means that whatever APC says goes. And that is not the way it's supposed to be. We cannot be claiming that we're running a democracy and we're doing another thing. If we don't agree that Nigeria, or if we don't want Nigeria to be a democratic nation, you say, say. So we know that we are no longer in democracy because you cannot be saying that you're in a democratic system and you're doing something that transcends to an authoritarian regime. It doesn't make sense. So you need to pick a struggle. It's either we are practicing democracy or we know that we're in an authoritarian regime. Anything goes.
And another arm of
Then we
government.
condition our mind.
Mind that we're no longer in democracy. That we're in an
Another arm of
authoritarian regime.
government that should help this country in this regard is the judiciary. I keep talking about the judiciary. Judiciary
They're not independent anymore.
pretends to be sleeping.
Judicial that was said to be the last hope of the common man. Now the common man has no hope.
The common man has no hope.
Yeah, yes.
They know that the defection, when you defect unconstitutionally, is there in the 1999 constitution as amended. You lose your position. But why is it that they don't want to implement it?
And you say they are not sleeping.
And the acting national chairman of PDP said something like that. They are going to pursue it, legally. This current wave of
to reclaim all the positions.
Yes.
That is what they are supposed to do. That's what they are supposed to do.
And they ask him to go to court. I know what they say.
They want to pursue it legally, but then who owns the legal? It's APC, so it's just it's very annoying. Very annoying. But we pray that God will deliver us from this single party we're moving to. Now, because of time, let's just do this conversation just briefly. Now, let's go over to, all of us will remember about 3 years ago, a popular gospel singer, Osinachi, died. So many stories surrounding her death. The husband was arraigned in court and all sorts of things. But just recently, about 3 days ago, the man, Peter Nwachukwu, was sentenced to death by hanging. Yes. Then they told us that Osinachi died of throat cancer. But when the chips were down, we were told that she died of as a result of domestic violence from the husband.
Homicide.
Yes. And now the man has been sentenced to death by hanging. What does this portend for us in the country, for men, for women, for marriages? How do we say this? Is there any lesson to be learned from this? Yes. While some are saying that, it serves him right. Some are saying that the punishment is way too much. Too much for
someone that is dead?
So what do we, what's your take on that? Where do we start now? Let's start from the woman. Women supporting women.
To be honest, when I saw the verdict about the man being sentenced to death by hanging, even being honest, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything. And even when people were online, a lot of people arguing, doing, this gender war, watch out for the men that are supporting this man. The truth is, I don't even know what to say, because the truth of the matter, no matter how we look at it, the person is dead. She's not coming back. So even if you hang 100 people, she won't come back. Yes, I agree, justice was served. But I also know there has been debates about capital punishment in the country for a long while now. And a lot of advocates are against capital punishments. So many people are advocating for life imprisonment. And people are saying, what about the kids? What will happen to them? I don't know what will happen to them, but I'm just saying that we need to be careful. And we need to control our temper. And we should realize that violence is not always the way out. We are always quick to give somebody woto. Sometimes there are other means of solving issues or resolving issues. But you say women, their mouth is talk. I say, okay, if women talk too much, your wife talks to you anyhow. But I'm yet to see anywhere that it trended that a man came out and challenged a female soldier because the female soldier, I have not seen it anywhere. Till this age I'm now. I haven't seen it. So that is why when people make that argument of women talking too much, I refer them to, I've not seen any man slapping a naval officer that is a woman, a policewoman, or a woman that is an army. So my point is, we are human beings. And we should learn how to control ourselves. At the end of the day, you, yourself, you're the only one that can tell yourself what to do. You have a choice to react or not to react. So if you are giving me the excuse that because women, they are mad, they too do church, that's why you
already know that.
That is,
then you contain it.
That is not an excuse, because I do not see you fighting the security women outside because they challenged you. So if you do not do that, then we are lying to ourselves. We are lying to ourselves. I think we should do better as human beings. I don't know. It's just crazy.
If you don't mind that,
Okay, right.
what she said is quite in order. In fact, as she talks, I just remember this other argument too that men are always in a hurry, and that's why whenever they are talking to their wives, they are like, no, so really, I'm not like I said about as in they don't go into details. But I also, you also agree with me that when a pastor, a male pastor, is counseling a female member, that so it in a hurry does not come. You don't see the man patiently listening to this member for 3 hours. What happened at that point? So if you can be patient with a member of your congregation who you feel that you can lose at any time if you say, hurry up. See the same with your wives. I also want to borrow a word from, I think, Paul. He was like talking to men. He said, treat your wives or women with knowledge. This knowledge, if you don't have it, don't get married. Because it's that knowledge that will help you to appreciate the makeup of a woman. For crying out loud, we are women. So now that you, just like you said, the woman talks too much, you know that is how they are wired. And you can allow them to rant. Somebody said each day they have about 3,000 or something else. I don't know about that. So some have not even exhausted, don't exhaust their own before the end of the day. So if you understand that, then that should not be a challenge. Are you getting it? Because it's actually thought of some of these things that you see some men, they will go out of their way to do things that they ought not to do. So the deal has been done. And like President said, hanging this man, I don't even know whether he will be hanged because we have an outstanding case. Pastor King, Reverend King.
Oh no.
So he is wanting to pass a judgment.
Nobody is sorry to sign that. Chukwemeka, just briefly, what do you have to put in for that?
That will serve as a deterrent to men who batter their wives. Marriage is not a battleground.
Yes.
It's not. Okay. It's a game of patience.
Yes.
It's a game of patience. You have to be patient. Okay. So live with your wife under the same roof for the rest of your life. I think it's not now. Most men are not marriageable. Likewise, women. There are people who are not marriageable, and do they find themselves in this situation of marriage? That is why we have all these problems. Okay. It's meant for people who are mature, to go into marriage.
Emotionally and
otherwise, you must have these qualities before you go there, because you are living with somebody you didn't know, how the person was raised. Well, before you met her, so it takes patience, it takes endurance, and tolerance for you to live under the same roof with the same person. So many women are suffering this, but they are keeping quiet. Now, this judgment has encouraged them to voice out. Come out and tell the court that my husband battered me, my husband beat me, throw punches at me. I'm tired of this. Please help me, so that the court will come to your aid. If you keep quiet, you'll die like Osinachi did.
So you live to live.
You live to live.
Right. On that note, please, you've heard it, men, we are wired differently. We are wicked vessel, just take it easy with us. Yes, we can talk. Some of us have not, we don't exhaust, we don't get to our limit of 3,000 words per day.
Even your wife who says, you're good for nothing, keep quiet.
I said,
Keep quiet.
You say, thank God.
Keep quiet.
You say, thank God you know that I am good for nothing, and you came to marry. Yes, on that note, we bring to an end this edition of Journalist Lounge, our news and current affairs program. Join us same time next week for another interesting edition. From all of us here, it's bye for now.
Bye.